Hi guys, this is Krista from Mosaic Party and Event Design, here today with some more sugar bee cookie tips and tricks. So what we're making today is snowflake cookies, and I'm not going to be showing you how to do the cookies. I am going to pipe snowflake details on these later, but I want to show you how to make the candy that I filled the centers with, because it is a super easy technique using the microwave, and anybody can do it, although I will recommend that it should be under serious adult supervision because the sugar that we're working with gets extremely hot and could do severe burns. So we're going to be showing you how to make this candy, and you could use it for things like cookies, or you could pour them and put sticks in them and make lollipops, or you could just do little squiggle art like this and let it dry, and those are perfect for sticking in cupcakes or cakes and get sort of a little designer look. So let's get started. All we need is a couple of ingredients. I'm just going to set these aside. Okay. So I'm working on a silicone mat. Very important. You want to protect your surfaces. If you don't have a silicone mat, you can go to the dollar store, honestly, and get them at most dollar stores in the baking supply sections now. I'm also working with a silicone cup that I got at a cake supply store. If you don't have a cake supply store handy, or you don't have a silicone cup, then you could use a Pyrex or any other heat resistant and microwave safe container. So I've already got started here. All I have in here is a 1/4 cup. Let's see if I can get it to focus. I'm sorry about the bouncing around. I am doing all of this one-handed today. I've got a 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. I've got just under a tablespoon of white light corn syrup, and my measurements are not exact. It's just a general guide. I've free poured it in there. And then you want to do about a teaspoon of water. Okay, and you want to get that stirred up. I'm just going to grab a spoon. Okay, sorry about that. You just want to grab a spoon and make sure it's all sort of, it won't be dissolved, but so that's all nice and mixed together. This is harder to do one-handed than I was expecting, but that's okay. You just need it generally mixed so that you don't have any really super dry areas in there. Hang on half a second. Okay, there we go. And you're going to pop this into the microwave for 20 seconds. And the purpose for that is that we're going to be heating up our sugar so that it does dissolve. So, 20 seconds on the microwave. That's all we need. And then from there on out, we're going to be doing 10-second intervals about 5 or 6 times until the sugar is at hard crack stage. So you want to make sure that you're staying close to your microwave. Don't get too busy doing other things in between. This is sort of something that you have to dedicate your time to, but it goes quick. So when you pull it out, it's going to be bubbling just a little bit. Do not touch it. Be very careful. And when you put in a spoon or something to stir it, you'll find it may start to bubble up a little bit more because it's going to activate the boil point. Give it a stir. And what you're looking for is to make sure that the sugar is dissolving nicely. So you can see there's just a little bit of granulated sugar still in there, but that's going to start dissipating in the heat and the moisture. So now our point of what we're doing is to boil out the moisture content and make it into candy. So we're going to do this in just quick little 10-second intervals, and we want to do that 5 or 6 times. And every time it's going to be hotter and hotter and bubbling more, and when you put your spoon or stir stick in, it's going to be activating that bubble and splattering, so be very, very careful. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's starting to smooth out. It's not very granular. All right, so back in for the second round of 10 seconds. So we're doing 20 seconds, then 10 seconds 6 times, which is kind of why I'm calling it 60-second candy, but it takes a little bit longer than that. And I realize the 20 seconds plus the multiple intervals of 10 equal more than 60 seconds, but the candy process itself only takes about 60 seconds of microwave time. All right, round 3. We're just going to get this done, and then I'm going to show you how to color it and talk about how you can flavor it if you want to, if you're making flavored candies. Okay, you can see it's boiling, and it's going to continue to do so. And like I said before a couple of times, is that when you put your stir stick in, it may splatter and activate the boiling, so be very, very careful. Give that a stir, knock down the bubbles a little bit, and put it back in. Okay, 10 seconds more, and then we're going to do this just one more time after. You can kind of use your judgment. Once you do it a few times, you can kind of see what the sugar is doing. You'll get to know, you know, how your microwave is holding up to the temperature. That's what we're looking for, is it to continue bubbling like that. If you were doing this on the stove, you would want to bring your sugars up to between 300 and 310 degrees in order to get the hard cracked candy stage. I just find that on the stove, you really have to watch it, and you have to really watch the temperature of your stove to make sure that it's cooking evenly and doesn't burn. Also, your pot really makes a difference. All right. That's exactly what we're looking for there. And you can see even stirring it isn't knocking it down, it's still boiling. All right, so we're going to take this over to my cookies. So I have some cookies here that I just have cutouts. And again, I'm working on a silicone mat. And this is going to make sure that I can pick my cookies up cleanly after the sugar's poured in. I'm just going to move these aside for a moment because we want to put some food coloring in here. So today I'm going to be working with a gel food coloring. This is just a teal color. And I'm out of stir sticks, so I'm just going to use the end of a stainless steel utensil here I have here. And you don't need a lot of food coloring. In fact, that's probably going to be too much for this little bit of sugar. You can use a toothpick. It's just a toothpick is so short and small, and I would suggest a stir stick or something bigger. And you're just going to mix that in. You can see it's still bubbling. You will have some time before this sets too hard, but you don't want to wait too long because it does start setting and getting thicker fairly quickly. Like I can already feel the difference here. I'm just going to get the excess off here. Okay. So I'm going to put my cookies down. And be careful of your container if you're using something like this. It is very, very hot. And you're just going to slowly pour. It will level out, but you can help it out a little bit by kind of going into any grooves and cracks. And you don't want to fill it up to the very top because you don't want it to spill over. You just sort of want a nice candied stained glass effect. And if you notice any bubbles or anything popping up, you can just kind of poke them and get them out. You're going to let those set. I know that in this light and against the red, that looks really almost black at the moment, but it will be a beautiful green, kind of like that. And again, it might be difficult on the red there. So you can make candies. You can then take your excess sugar. I don't know if I left enough room here, but you can take your excess sugar, make sure you don't have any cookie crumbs. And you can either pour, or you could dip a spoon or something in, and you could just kind of for those cupcake toppers or whatever I was talking about. And you just let that sit and peel them off. You could also just, if you have candy molds, you can pour them into candy molds. You can make just little button candies. Oops, I'm missing my filming here. Sorry guys, try that again. It's starting to thicken up. I'm getting sugar strings. Alright, so little candy. Just pour. And then you're just going to kind of twist and lift up. And then if you get a little edges like that, you can have time to kind of tuck them in if you want them nice and perfect, or if you want them more rustic. And that should melt into each other and make a nice clean edge. This is a great way to make lollipops as well, is that you can make these a little bit bigger and stick a stick in them. And to clean this out, all you need to do is sit it in some water and it'll dissolve and wipe out really beautifully. So there you have it, guys. That's how I'm making my my candy. If you want to flavor this, when you put in the food coloring, you can put in a little bit of flavoring. You could do something like a peppermint oil. And you generally would want to use oils if you can. They have a much stronger flavor and you need very, very little. Just a drop will do. And be careful of any colors. Like if you put vanilla in, you want a clear vanilla and not an extract. You actually want a real true vanilla. And clear if possible, because otherwise it's going to color your candy. But if you are putting some color in it, it won't really matter too much, because you're not looking for a nice crystal clear. Anyways, have fun making your candy, guys. Cheers.